Okay, welcome to our question and answer session. We shall begin with the first question.
Question number 1, question from Ren Rata from Cambodia. How do we cultivate 10 kasina until getting mental absorption?
You have to go find a teacher who knows how to practice this method, because each teacher is specialized in a certain method. Here we specialize on using the mantra or using the anapanasati. So if you want to use the kasina, you have to look for a teacher who is specialized in this field. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you what to do or how to do it.
His next question, how to overcome sloth and torpor?
Well, you should eat less. If you want to meditate, don't eat too much. Because when you eat a lot, you become lazy and sleepy. Normally, for meditator, the Buddha said they should keep the 8 precepts. That is, they should not eat after midday, so that the body will not be burdened with the food that we eat. The body will be light and will not be sleepy.
Question number 3 from Bun Kyong. How does Deva make merits?
When you become devas or spiritual beings, you have no opportunity to make merit. It's the time when you go and receive your merit, your award. Only when you become a human, that's when you obey merit or bad merit, good merits or bad merits. When you are spiritual beings, you go and receive the fruits of your karma. If you did bad karma, you will be spiritual beings with lots of suffering. If you did good karma, you will become spiritual beings with a lot of happiness.
Next question, how does Deva continue to practice Dhamma in Deva realm?
I just said they don't, except if they are inclined and for instance, like to listen to Dhamma talk. If they know if there's a monk or an enlightened person who can communicate with them, then they will go and look for that monk or that enlightened person and communicate Dhamma with that person. But if in the time when they were human beings, and if they have attained to the first level of enlightenment, then they will continue on practicing, because this becomes automatic in the mind, regardless of whether you have a body or not. You will continue to practice because you have initiated the practice. But if you're normally not doing practice when you are human beings, or you do it casually or do it from time to time, or when you feel like, you might not do it when you become a spiritual beings.
Next question from Luke Sawak from Melbourne, Australia. Was your experience of becoming enlightened something happened gradually, or was there a moment of awakening that you knew that you have reached the goal?
This is something you have to find out for yourself. Keep on practicing Sila, Samadhi and Panya. Because each person have different experiences, and it's something that one should not brag about or talk about it, because it can be harmful to the person who speaks about it. Because some people might not believe, and they might think you are just trying to show off. So it's better not to speak anything about one's personal experience.
Next question from Maya Chopra from Australia. I am a woman in my 50s. My mind always justifies, judges, criticizes, makes assumptions, condemns, approves, disapproves, likes, dislikes. When I meet someone, my mind will instantly tell me what I dislike about this person. So, why my mind always behave like my own enemy? Is this mind myself?
This is the habit you have been building in your past lives. So what it becomes a habit. But you can break this habit by using mindfulness to stop it. When you know that you are criticizing or judging things, you should stop it. And instead of criticizing or judging, you should analyze things as they are. The Buddha said, analyze everything that you come into contact with to see that they are impermanent, that they cannot be under your control all the time. That if you want them to be under your control or you want them to be permanent, you will only be trouble because you cannot do it. This is the way we should do, behave toward other things or people. Don't judge them whether they're good or bad. It's okay to know if they are good or bad, but it's more important to know that they are impermanent. It's more important that you cannot really do anything to them, change them or manage them. Sooner or later, they will be beyond your control. And if you try, if you want to, it will only make you unhappy.
Next question, question number 8 from Kamlesh Taware from India. A monk in India at our Chandrapore district was killed by a jaguar when he was meditating under a tree at around 10 a.m. I am now in so much fear. Could you let me know why the jaguar killed the monk who was meditating and how to reduce my fear?
Well, when two opposing forces meet, they clash. Animals, they're probably afraid of humans, and human is afraid of animals. So usually when they meet, they usually clash. If a human has a gun, he'll probably shoot at the animal. If he doesn't have a gun, then maybe the animal will attack that person. So this is just natural for things to be. If you're afraid, then you should try to stay away from places where you might think you might be attacked by wild animals.
So when he's meditating, the jaguar killed the monk. He say why?
No, there's no why. The jaguar, just like I said, maybe the animal might feel threatened. Yeah.
Question number 9 from Lee Te Hua from Singapore. What is your advice for someone who has Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, in practicing the Dhamma?
Well, they have to try to maintain mindfulness as much as possible. Mindfulness will be the important factor that will overcome the disability. The disability is the result of not having enough mindfulness. If you have enough mindfulness, you will be able to control your thoughts. It's your thought that tells your body what to do. So if you can control your thought, then you can tell the thought what to think and what to do.
Question number 10 from KH Pan, Malaysia. In many of your talk, you mentioned that our body is impermanent and our mind is permanent. My interpretation of reading Brahma Jala Sutta about those matters, the Buddha declared that this view is misapprehension. Could you please clarify?
I'm not sure, whether this is what you say it is, because from my understanding, from my studies, that this is what I was told, that the body is impermanent. It rises and ceases. The mind is permanent. It goes on to the next life. It takes a new birth. So this is my understanding. If the sutta says something else, I would not like to argue because I don't know whether the sutta is correct or not. Or maybe I'm wrong, so I cannot say. But for my practice, I believe that the body is impermanent and the mind is permanent. It doesn't die with the body. Let's put it that way.
Next question, question number 11 from Ivy Louis. I understand that our last moment before death will affect our next rebirth. If a person during his lifetime has been practicing 5 precepts and has been helpful and generous, but during his last moment before he died, he loses his mind and kept scolding vulgarity, he will then have a bad rebirth. In this case, could you explain how the karma is said to be fair?
Well, this is just fantasizing. You don't know actually what happened to that person when he dies. It's just something that you just think of, But in truth, when a person dies, the total sum of his karma will be the one to decide what happened to his spirit. See, in your daily life, you do some good karmas and you do some bad karmas. It's like money. Someday you go to the bank and put the money in the bank. Someday you withdraw the money from the bank. So at the end of the year, you want to know the balance. You go check the balance, whether you still have money in the bank or you owe the bank money. This is the same way with what you do in your lifetime when you are alive. You do good karma and you do bad karma. When you die, the good and bad karma will then come and add each other up. If the bad karma is more than the good karma, then the bad karma will then be the factor that will cause your spirit to be unhappy. If your good karma is more than the bad karma, then the good karma will cause your spirit to be happy spirit.
Next question. If I do unwholesome action in my dream, does my mind create bad karma?
In your dream, you cannot do any action. When you sleep, your dream is the product of your good or bad karma. When you have good dreams, it's the product of your good karma. When you have bad dreams, it's the product of your bad karma. When you sleep, it's like dying temporarily. It's a brief death, because after a few hours, then you come back into your body as if you are reborn again. But when you die, you will take a long sleep. Then your dreams will be long, eventually before you can be reborn again with a new body. You have to wait for your good or bad karma to expire, to not be able to influence your mind or your spirit. Then your mind or spirit then will be free to take up a new body, a new birth.
Next question from Joel Pua. What will happen after the 5,000 years of Buddhism?
Well, then nobody will know anything about the Buddha's teaching anymore. And no one will be able to take advantage from the Buddha's teaching. So they will have to wait for a new Buddha to become enlightened and then to teach, to explain what the Dhamma is, like this present Buddha did for us.
If there is no Buddhism, how would humankind penetrate the truth in liberation from suffering?
Only a special human that can do this. This special human we call a bodhisattva or a future Buddha, which is a person who is gifted with all the what you call the perfection, all the 10 perfection. Then he will become the next Buddha.
If the Buddha is compassionate, why does it take so long for another enlightened Buddha to be born?
It has nothing to do with compassionate or not. It's a matter of whether a person can fulfill the 10 perfections. If a person can fulfill the 10 perfections, then he could become a Buddha. But it's very difficult to do this. So that's why it takes so long for one Buddha to appear on this earth.
Question number 16 from Kusalo Eng from Singapore. I am 70 years old. My question is, why there are so many different types of amulets that claim to be powerful? Should a Buddhist wear one of these amulets?
No, you shouldn't pay any attention to this thing. They don't worth anything. It's just belief. Actually, it's just a toy that you play with. You believe this toy is magical, it can has some magical power, but the real truth is there's nothing in that amulet.
His next question: lately, when I meditate, I experience warm sensation moving over my body. Should I disregard the sensation?
Yes, you should concentrate on your mantra or on your breath. The goal is to make your mind empty, blank, and still, and peaceful and happy. If you stop and you pay attention to the sensation, then you will not get there. These things are distraction that you should not pay attention to.
Question number 18 from Mei Yeng Lo from Malaysia. I have been having strained relationship with my mother. Every 6 months or so, we'll get into heated arguments. I carry a lot of grudges due to physical and verbal abuses. I tried to keep quiet when we got into argument, but I often fail. The only success I have was when I totally cut off contact with her. Should I avoid her at all time to prevent deepening my bad karma for arguing with my mom? What should I do?
Well, if you cannot face her peacefully, then it's better to avoid her. But ideally, you should be able to face everybody peacefully. And in order to do this, you have to be able to control your mind. In order to control your mind, you have to learn to develop mindfulness. The stronger the mindfulness you have, then the ability for you to control your mind will be enhanced. So try to develop mindfulness. Because we have to meet people in life, you cannot avoid. So it's better to learn how to control your mind. Then when you meet people, you can stop your anger, stop your bad emotions toward those people that you meet.
Question number 19 from Teo the Beauty, Malaysia. I practice my meditation at least 2 hours a day. Recently, I noticed my desires have decreased. Can meditation reduce desire, including desire to eat or desire for other sensual pleasure?
Yes, they can reduce, but it's the temporary reduction. It's not permanent reduction. As soon as you stop meditating, then this desire will come back strong. So if you want to reduce your desire, then you should do a lot of meditation. Keep doing the more meditation that you do, the more content you have. See? Meditation gives you contentment. Your mind is not hungry for anything, so you don't have any desire to have anything. But when your mind is not it's not content, it's not calm, then your mind will have desire for things. And so this is one way of decreasing your desire, but you cannot get rid of your desire with meditation. You need insight. You need the wisdom that the Buddha teaches us to develop, which is to teach us that we should teach the mind to see that things that we desire for are actually bad for us, because it will make us unhappy sooner or later. Because things that we desire for is not permanent, doesn't remain the same all the time. Sooner or later, the things that make us happy could change, and when they change, they could only make us unhappy, and we cannot control them. We cannot prevent them from changing. If we see this, then we would not have any desire for anything.
His next question: can a lay person attain Sotapanna in this life? If yes, what are the criteria to attain the Sotapanna, and how fast a person can attain it?
Anybody can become a Sotapanna, which is the first level of enlightenment. All you need is to have morality. You should maintain at least the 8 precepts, and you should be able to control your mind in meditation, make your mind calm and peaceful and content. And you should have the wisdom to see that everything is impermanent, everything is not under your control, everything will make you unhappy sooner or later. If you see this, then you can become enlightened. The first level has to do with your body. The Sotapanna, he is capable of teaching his mind to let go of the body by seeing that this body actually is not the mind. The mind only comes to possess this body at the time of conception, and then it uses this body as a servant, telling the body what to do. But the mind and the body are two separate entities. The body will eventually return to its former self. They are made up from the four elements. The body comes from the earth, water, wind, and fire. And eventually the body will then return back to the four elements. So if you can see this with wisdom, you know that the body is impermanent, you know that the body is not you. If you cling to your body, you will be hurt. Your mind will be you'll suffer. If you don't want to be hurt, then you have to let the body be. Let the body get old, let the body get sick, let the body die. If you still can do anything about it, you can do it. If you can, when your body gets sick, you can go to the hospital, you can use medicine or whatever. But when you come to the point where there's nothing else you can do, then you just have to let it be. If you can let the body be, then your mind will become peaceful and not hurt. So this is what a Sotapanna will be able to achieve by studying the nature of the body and separate the body from the mind.
How fast a person can attain the fruits?
It depends how much you do. The more you do, the faster you get. The less you do, the longer it takes.
Question number 21 from Karen Lin, Singapore. Is first jhana a Sotapanna?
No. Jhana is the state of calm that you gain from controlling your thoughts with mindfulness. And calm has many different levels. Actually, they have 8 or 9 levels. The first level is the first level. It has a certain amount of calm, but not. The second level can be calmer, and the third level can even be more calmer. As you keep concentrating on your meditation object, such as your breath or your mantra, then your mind will stop thinking. The more it stops thinking, the more calmer it will become. So then it will become different level of calm. We call this level jhana.
Question number 22. I understand the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, but I am unable to apply them all the time. Is it for sure that I will not be able to move forward towards Sotapanna because I am not able to apply those all the time?
Well, you have to apply it at the time when it counts. When something happens to your body, and if you can apply the Four Noble Truths at that time, then you can achieve enlightenment. You need something to happen to force your mind to see the Four Noble Truths, to apply the Noble Eightfold Path. If nothing happens, when your body is still good, is still strong, and it doesn't get sick or get old, or is not threatened by death, then there's nothing for you to use as a point to instigate your Four Noble Truths and your Noble Eightfold Path. But we have to learn how to develop this Noble Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths first, in preparation for the time when we have to use them. So normally we will try to maintain the Noble Eightfold Path as much as possible, and maintain the knowledge of the Four Noble Truths as much as possible. But the test comes at the time when there is a crisis in your life. This is when you have to use the Four Noble Truths to eliminate your suffering that arises from the crisis.
Question number 23. I am a working woman and I have to put on makeup to look presentable. Is it true that I will not be able to attain Sotapanna level if I dress up or I put on makeup?
No. You can become a Sotapanna with whether you have makeup or you don't have makeup. It depends on whether you have attachment to these makeups or not. If you have to put it on because it's your duty, then it's not desire, it's not defilement. But if you want to put it up because you want to look pretty, you want to look respectable, then this is defilement or desire. You have to get rid of the desire type. But if you have to do it because it's your job, it's like playing when you play on the stage, you have to apply a certain makeup, put on a certain costume. You didn't do it because you wanted to do it. You do it because this is your part in a play. This is the same way. If you have to go to work, you might have to put on some makeup, or else your boss might tell you to go home.
Question number 24. How should a working person carry out daily life but also practice vipassana to at least move forward toward a sotapanna?
To always study the nature of your body, to always remind that the body isn't you, the body is your servant, that you have to give it up sooner or later. The body is going to get old, get sick and die, and there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is to leave it alone and let it be. Then you will not be hurt. But if you try to control it, try to manage it, you're going to be hurt. So this is what you should try to do every instance of your life if you can. Remind yourself. And when the time comes, then see if you can apply it. When you see wrinkles on your face, you see white hair, see if you can just leave them alone. Don't have to do anything about it. If you get sick, don't get mad because you get sick. Getting sick is just part of life. If you can fix it, fix it. If you cannot fix it, then you just have to live with it. But don't get angry, don't get mad, don't get sad. Okay.
Question number 25. I work in a fast-paced work environment, so I have to complete my work as fast as possible. It makes my mind works like a monkey mind all the time. Will this fast-paced work affect my development of mindfulness in terms of observing every moment of my activities?
No, because actually the faster the pace, it forces you to be more mindfulness. So actually working fast-paced can help you develop your mindfulness. But only this kind of mindfulness is not the kind of mindfulness that we want. We want the kind of mindfulness that stops thinking. But this kind of work, this kind of mindfulness, you still need to think with it. So it's not good, it doesn't contribute to your meditation. But it maybe contribute half of it to your meditation. It contributes you to be mindful. But you have to develop the other kind. You need the kind of mindfulness that stops thinking, not the kind of mindfulness that encourages thinking. See? When you work, you have to be mindful and you have to think at the same time. What to do with this job, how to do it. You have to be mindful to know what you're doing. So you still keep thinking. See? You want to have the other kind of mindfulness. The kind of mindfulness that stops you from thinking, such as you recite a mantra, keep reciting a mantra, then you cannot think about other things.
Question number 26. Different temples have different rules and practice. I would like to seek your advice regarding the way for offering of food. I have been serving Sri Lanka monks for more than 10 years. After food offering, some people may accidentally touch the edge of the table where all the food are placed. This is okay at Sri Lanka temple that I go. However, at Wat Palilai, Singapore, I was shouted at for touching the table after the food were offered to the monks. They said that if I touch the table, all the monks will not be able to eat the food on that table and all the food have to be re-offered. So my question is, if I or anyone unintentionally touch the table, are the monks not able to eat the food?
Well, that's the rule, see. I can explain you why. The reason why people, when you give food, you have to offer to the monk. Because this way will prevent the monk from being accused of stealing, see. Because everything is given, handed to the monk. But once you hand the things to the monk, if you touch that thing, it means you want it back. So when you want it back, you take it back, the monk cannot touch it anymore. Because if the monk touches it, then it can be accused that the monk is stealing the food, the thing from that person. So this is just the interpretation of how monks should accept things. See? But different country might have different interpretation. With Sri Lankan monk, they say once you're given, it's mine, regardless of whether you touch it or not. So you just have to learn the rules wherever you go. Each country have different rules. You in Thailand, you drive on the left side of the road. You go to America, you drive on the right-hand side. So you have to study the rule of each country, each places you go.
Question number 27. What are the different merits someone gain between chanting and someone who only does dana or someone who only practices meditation? Which one has most merits?
The merit we gain from these practices is making the mind calm. So each practice have different level of calm. Dana has less calm than keeping the precept. Keeping the precept has less calm than meditation. But it's easier to give dana than it is to keep the precept. And it's easier to keep the precept than to meditate. So when you do easy thing, you have less reward, let's put it that way. The harder things you do, you get higher reward, more reward.
So
the reward is the feeling of calm, peace in your mind.
Last question, Long Po. Question 28. My friends and some people I know like to pray to God to seek for things such as wealth, good career, good health, etc. because they believe God can give them what they have asked for. In your opinion, what kind of advice I can give to those friends?
Nothing. Just leave them alone, unless they ask you. If they ask you, then you can give. If they don't ask, don't bother, because they might get angry at you. So you have to, before you can give advice, you have to have them seeking your advice first. If they don't, then it's better not to say anything, even though you want to help them, but they might not understand. Is there anybody else who? Okay, can you send the microphone to this jet?
I don't think I need a microphone.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Humbly asking Ajahn a question about perception. Buddha says to Bhaya, in the seen there is only the seen, in the heard there is only the heard.
Right.
And also you see that there is no thing there, and you will see there is no thing here. You'll see indeed that therefore you cannot be located in the world of that, or in the world of this, nor in any world in between the two. If it is possible for the organism to remove the self from the perceptual equation, is it true that what remains is Dhamma conceiving Dhamma?
It is a phenomena perceiving another phenomena. The mind is a phenomena, and everything that the mind perceives they are phenomena. So there is no self. The self arises from the mind thinking. See, the mind creates the self. It's just a concept, but actually the mind is just a phenomena, a consciousness that beware or aware of whatever comes into contact with it. So actually there's no self in everything. Your body is not the self. The person who sees the body is not the self. It's just the mind. See, but this is something that we don't know. We've been programmed or been taught to think that the mind is us. That's one who think, the one who know is us, and then we then see things, hear things, and then we have desire toward them. But if we see things as they are and leave them alone, then there would be no problem with the mind. The mind is under delusion, created by its own delusion, creating a self when there is no self, and then creating the delusion that everything that the mind comes into contact with is good for the mind. But in fact, they are not good for the mind. because they're only half good. The other half, they are half bad, because they change. What you get when at the start, at the beginning, when you get things, they are good, but after a while they'll change into something else, and then they become bad. So this is where we have to come and re-educate the mind. To re-educate that everything that the mind thinks is good for the mind is really not good for the mind. And then that the mind really is not a self, the mind is just a perceiver, the one who knows, that's all. And the mind should just be that, just be the one who knows. Don't act, don't react. See, just see, hear, just hear. Then the mind can then be alone and be happy, because this is the state of mind that brings contentment to the mind. When the mind leaves everything alone, when the mind gets rid of all its desire. Is that clear enough? Thank you. Okay. Any more?
From me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. How did you know? I had one more question.
Well, you're looking at it.
All right. So can the same mind be the mind that is at one time avijja and at another time vijja?
Yes, but once it's vijja, it won't be avijja anymore. When you know, then you will always know. Once you become enlightened, you cannot be delusional anymore.
So is it true that the same reality can be conditioned and can be unconditioned by being viewed by a different mind?
It's just a matter of each different mind views things differently. See, when you become enlightened, you view things as impermanent, as being not under your control, not good for you. With delusional mind, it will think that things are good, that it's permanent, and that it can manage and control them. So that's the difference between avijja and avijja. An enlightened mind sees things as they are, as the three characteristics, as containing the three characteristics. Delusional mind sees things without the three characteristics. See the opposite of the three characteristics. Instead of impermanent, it sees them as permanent. Instead of bad, seeing it as good. Instead of seeing that it's not a self, you see it as a self or belonging to you. So this is just a difference. We are trying to re-educate the mind, to teach the mind to see the truth as it is. Right now we see the truth under our delusion. So we always get unhappy because it's not what we think they are, see. But once you see things as they are, then you leave them alone. You don't need them to be happy. You can be happy without having anything. This is something we don't know, see. That's why we have to pull ourselves from everything by meditation. When we meditate, we're actually pulling the mind away from the sensual organs, the eyes, ears, nose, and tongue, and go inside. Once the mind goes inside and become peaceful, it becomes content. Then it knows it doesn't need to have anything. Okay? Okay.
คำถามจากคุณแตง I have been observing mindfulness closely, but it seems that kilesa are getting fiercer and more sudden during sleep as well. What should I do?
It means your mindfulness is not strong enough. When you start to control your mind, your defilements or your kilesa will react strongly than normally. So consider it as a normal process. That as soon as you begin to control your mind, your defilement will start to oppose you. So you have to be perseverant. You have to be tolerant and endure. Try to keep developing mindfulness. And eventually when your mindfulness becomes stronger than your defilements, then your defilement will not be able to oppose you anymore. But in the beginning, this is a normal process. As soon as you start to control your mind, defilements or your kilesa will react strongly.
คำถามจากคุณคาร์ลโทน How do we know if we are suitable for vipassana meditation or samatha meditation?
Well, normally we speak from the proper way of practice. You need to have a strong, calm mind first before you can contemplate on the truth of existence, such as anicca, dukkha, anatta. But if your mind is not strong and peaceful enough, you will not be able to contemplate very, very long. You might be able to do a few minutes or a few seconds, but then your mind will then shift back to your old way of contemplating, your old way of thinking. The way you used to think under the influence of your defilement. So you need a strong, calm mind to be able to resist your defilements, to force your mind to think in the way of the truth, which is to contemplate on anicca, dukkha, anatta. So, but anytime when you're not in samadhi, if you want to contemplate, you can do anytime you want. The point is whether you can do it long enough to make it useful, to make it beneficial. Because in order to be useful or beneficial, you have to be able to contemplate all the time. So that whenever your defilement comes up, you can use this truth to suppress or eliminate it. That's the goal of contemplation, to bring the truth, to teach the mind the truth so that it can stop the defilement from influencing the mind. Okay, we can talk. We have a few more minutes left. Is there anything you like to ask me? Where did you come from? Malaysia? Penang. How many of you? 8. How long you staying?
Oh, we actually came from Chiang Mai. We went to Chiang Mai first.
I see. And you're about to leave to
we are leaving for Thong Pa Phum.
Nong Pa Phong. Saturday.
For our own retreat.
I see. How long you plan to stay there?
About 10 days.
Oh, really? All of you? 8 of you?
All of us.
Very good. I mean, you're a serious meditator, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Our teacher is Long Po Chai Chan, the pastor away.
Long Po Chai Chan.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He used to be with Ajahn Tet.
Yes, we love
Long Po Tet. Yes. So you knew him for many years?
I knew him for 16 years.
16 years, okay. He speaks Chinese, right?
He speaks English.
English, yeah, okay. Little Chinese, yeah, okay. Is there anything you like to ask me?
Oh, we come across something like wisdom developed
Samadhi.
That's all. Can Long Po please elaborate a bit on that?
Well, samadhi can be achieved by 2 methods. By concentration, by focusing your mind on a meditation object, such as anapanasati or something else, Bhutto mantra. But sometimes your mind is restless and agitated because of some problem you might have with your family, your friend, your business, or whatever happened previously before you come and meditate. And you cannot concentrate on your breath, you cannot concentrate on your mantra. Then you have to use wisdom, which is common sense. You have to tackle the problem that is bothering you at that time. Ask yourself, what's the problem with the problem? And can you solve it or not? Such as money or people. You're angry at someone and you cannot let your mind get away from this anger. So you have to ask, what can you do about it? Can you change the person that make you angry? Can you erase what had happened? You couldn't. Things already happened. Yeah. The only thing you can do is just accept it. That there's nothing you can do about it. Once you can accept it, then your mind will let go of the problem. then your mind will come back to normal. Then this is like wisdom develop samadhi. But you have to it's only a superficial level of samadhi. Because if you want to have full concentration, you have to come back and concentrate on your mantra or on your breath. But this is to stop your mind from being agitated by some events or people that you cannot let go of. So you have to use wisdom. Look at them as anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anicca, they come and go, they do good and bad things. Anatta, you cannot prevent or you cannot stop them from doing what they do. So if you want them to do something or in a certain way, and you know you cannot do it because you cannot force them to do it, then you just have to accept them for what they are. Once you let go of your attachment, of your desire to have them do things for you, because you see them as anicca, dukkha, anatta. And when you let go, then your mind then become peaceful and can then come back and concentrate on your meditation. This is on the ordinary level. There's another level of wisdom develop samadhi. When you sit in pain, your mind starts to be agitated, right? You cannot concentrate on your breath. You cannot use a mantra. Then you might have to use wisdom. Study the nature of pain and see if they are anicca, dukkha, anatta or not. If you can see that it's anicca, pain come and go. Anatta, you cannot force them to go away. So the only thing you can do is just accept it. Let the pain stay. Once you can let the pain stay without having any desire for it to disappear, then your mind become calm and peaceful. Then you have samadhi that way. Then you can go through this painful stage. This is what we call deep wisdom develop samadhi also. Sometimes your mind cannot focus on your breath, cannot focus on your mantra. Then you just have to use investigation. Investigate the nature of pain to see that they are anicca, dukkha, anatta. Dukkha because you attach, you want to get rid of it. So you have to leave it alone because you cannot force it to go away. Because it is anatta. Once you see that the painful feeling is anatta, there's nothing you can do about it. Like the rain, can you do anything about it when it rains? The more you want the rain to stop, the more restless you become, right? So it's better just to accept it. Once you teach the mind to accept it, and if the mind do accept, then the mind will leave the pain alone. And the mind will become peaceful, become samadhi that way, become calm that way. This is also wisdom develop samadhi. Or if you face a situation of life and death, you study the nature of your body. What is the nature of your body? It's impermanent, right? Sooner or later it's gonna die. So if you should die now, what can you do? Nothing, right? So you accept it. Let the body die. Let go of the body. This is also wisdom develop samadhi. But you have to have situation to force you to use wisdom. Normally, if there's no crisis, no situation, you cannot use wisdom. When your mind is peaceful and have no problem, then you cannot use wisdom to solve the problem, see. You need to have crisis, you need to have problem. Then you need to use the wisdom develop samadhi if you could not use mindfulness to stop it. Understand?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Can I hand you the microphone first? So, no, it's all right. We have the microphone. Just speak close to the microphone, so people at home can also hear you.
Long Paul, do we do this investigation during meditation or in our daily life as well?
It depends on which level of practice you are in. If you're on the mindfulness level, you shouldn't investigate or think at all, because on mindfulness you want to stop your thinking, because If you cannot stop your thinking, you cannot have samadhi. So the first stage, you need to develop mindfulness by trying to stop your mind from thinking. So, and on the first level, you don't investigate, you don't use wisdom. You want to stop your mind from thinking with mindfulness, such as using mantra or watching your body, whatever you are doing, keep watching it. Don't let your mind go think about some other thing else. Once you can control your thought, when you sit in samadhi, then you can enter into samadhi. Once you have samadhi, then the next level, you can start teaching your mind about anicca, dukkha, anatta. You can do it two way. When there's no problem, you just teach it beforehand. Get prepared for the problem that will arise later, such as pain, such as death. Before you face them, you have to teach your mind how to face this pain and how to face death. By understanding the nature of pain and then understanding the nature of death, that is unavoidable, it's anatta. The only thing you can do with them is to accept them when they come. Don't resist, don't try to get rid of them. Because when you do that, you get dukkha, you get agitation, you get stress in your mind. But if you accept them for what they are, then you might just remain calm, ubekha. Let the pain arise and cease by itself. Let that come and go if it should come. This is the next level. You have to have samadhi first in order to be able to contemplate on a long-term basis. If you don't have samadhi, you might be contemplate for a few seconds, and the next thing you know, you go back thinking about your friend, your family. So you have to have samadhi to be able to pull your mind to contemplate on wisdom, on anicca, dukkha, anatta. Is that clear enough? Okay.
How do we train ourselves so that we can have more mindfulness, not only during meditation as well as in our daily life?
Go stay in your retreat more. Retreat is the place for you to develop mindfulness and samadhi. Yeah.
Every year, and we will go for the retreat.
Yeah, or become a monk. Then you can have full time. Otherwise, you will just be going back and forth. When you go back to work, you cannot control your mind, your thought, because the events force you to think how to make money, how to protect your money, and so forth.
Especially for people who are working.
Yes, that's why people become monks if they want to become enlightened. See? You will become monk one day if you have strong enough aspiration for enlightenment, because you know that you have to have full time on your practice. If you don't have the time, you would never be able to achieve your goal. Can you talk to the microphone, please?
Paul, as you mentioned on the next level, when you have this calmness, do we just investigate? That's the first object that comes into the mind, or we still have to investigate, or we have to just detach from the calmness also?
You use wisdom on two occasion. If we have no situation, no problem, then you just pick a certain subject or that you are still clinging to. If you still cling to your family, you have to use wisdom to cut off your clinging. But if there's a situation, then you have to solve that situation by using wisdom. If the situation forced on you, you suddenly get sick, you went to see a doctor and the doctor said you got terminal cancer. Now you have to investigate the nature of the body, to let go of your attachment to the body. You cannot think about other things because it will not solve your problem. Your problem is your attachment to your body. So it depends on the situation. If you have a situation forced upon you, then you have to use wisdom to solve that situation. But if you have no situation, no problem, but you know in the future there will be problem, because eventually there will be separation. So you might have to contemplate on the things that you don't want to be separated from, so that you can let go of them when the time comes.
Thank you.
All right? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Because we are running out of time.
Okay.
I guess this is about the time we have for today. Thank you for your question. Please send them more. If you have any more, we'll be happy to answer them. In the meantime, please continue on your practice and hopefully become enlightened soon. Goodbye.